Good day, everybody. This is Charleston City Councilman Jim McBride for City of Charleston District 3, which covers about 20% of Johns Island and a little bit of James Island. Here to give an overview of the town hall we had on June 22nd, 6:30 p.m. at Estuary Beans and Barley. If you made it, that's awesome. We had a lot of people there. It was great. If you didn't make it, that's why I'm doing this video, so you can see what we covered. And for those of you who are seeing this video who were at the meeting, please share the video with others that were not able to go so more people could be informed. We had co-hosting with me was County Councilman Joe Boykin and State Representative James Teeple for District 116, State House District 116. And the audience got to hear the perspective from the state level, the county level, and the city level, and what we're all doing together to try to tackle these infrastructure problems that we're facing that were built up over many decades. And it's going to take a few years to chip away at it, and we're making some progress, as you'll see here soon. I'm going to do this video in 3 parts. You can see in the top right, there's 4 topics. I'm going to cover the first topic, the Sea Island hurricane preparation and evacuation first, at the actual meeting that was presented by Ben Webster from Charleston County Emergency Management Division. Did a great job. I'll do the best I can to recount what he covered with his slides. And the next big topic, which will be part 2 of this series. So at the end of this video, you'll see a link to part 2. And the part 2 will take you to the next topic, which is the Charleston County 2026 Transportation Sales Tax. I go into a lot of detail here with County Councilman Joe Boykin, talking about the state road infrastructure that is within our municipalities, how the state cannot afford to improve their roads. So therefore, Charleston County and several other counties in the state have had to do these sales taxes to make up for what the state cannot do. So I get into the history of the 2004 sales tax and 2016 sales tax, the projects that were on those sales taxes that impact the Sea Islands, as well as really focusing on the 2026 transportation sales tax coming up this November. And then there won't be a part for this next thing, but this traffic analysis system and parcel map will be available on my website right after this video is released for the public to use. But then part 3, I'll go into the Jubilee Boutique Hotel that will begin construction on Maybank Highway here very soon. And that was presented by the developer Adam Baslow from New Leaf Development, and did a great job. So I'll show his slides and do the best I can to recap what he covered. So again, part 1 will be the Sea Island hurricane preparation and evacuation. At the end of this video, this is part 1. At the end of this, you'll see a link to part 2, which will be the transportation sales tax discussion. I'll throw in the traffic analysis system and parcel map into part 2, and then part 3 will be the Jubilee Boutique Hotel, and you'll be able to link to that at the end of part 2. So here we go. So we had this at the Estuary Beans and Barley. I always like to do my town halls at businesses when I can, like to help support the businesses and promote the businesses. And I just wanted to give a quick profile of the co-owners of Estuary Beans and Barley. Founder Scott Harrison, native of Charleston, South Carolina, decorated member of the U.S. Army Special Forces, and founder and chief executive officer of Estuary Brewing Company. Also the founder and co-owner of Vail Brewing Company in Vail, Colorado. I actually have been there before. It's a pretty awesome place. I'm partial, of course, to Estuary here in Charleston on Johns Island. He also is the co-founder and co-director of the Drifter Project, a nonprofit project with a mission to introduce individuals with physical disabilities to wind-based water sports. So great guy, great member of the community. And co-owner Sarah Barberschmidt, native of Milwaukee, obviously a very accomplished business manager in the craft brewing industry, and more specifically a founding team member of the Vail Brewing Company in Vail, Colorado. And she graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 2011 playing soccer. And she was hired to be the founding general manager of the Vail Brewing Company in Vail, Colorado, where she managed 2 locations and all company employees. She's using her experiences and continue to learn and grow here in Charleston, running the day-to-day operations at Estuary. It's a beautiful place. If you haven't been there, I always like to bring people there for meetings. And I asked the audience how many people had never been there before. And I'd say about 30%, 30 hands went up. And it's just great to discover this place. It's kind of hidden off of Maybank on Johns Island. They brew their own beer and they roast their own beans, believe it or not. So Estuary beans, that's the coffee beans, and barley is the beer. They do it all, and it's a very high quality on both sides. So go check it out if you haven't seen it, been there before. We had 95 people in attendance. I was stunned. It was packed, as you can see. People were on the stairwell, ran out of seats. I'm very thankful for that, for the audience. The more people that I can share this information with, the better. I just really ask you, if you were there, please share the information with others so more people know what's going on Johns Island and the Sea Islands. Mayor Bradley Belt was there as well, and his bride, Mayor of Kiowa. So that was great. So thank you again all for attending. I didn't expect it because it's in the summer. The summer vacation, people are gone, but it was packed. All right. So Sea Island hurricane preparation and evacuation. There's the famous Coburg cow that's on the cover of this year's edition of the Charleston County Hurricane Guide. If you don't know, when it comes to disaster response, it's always the county, in this case Charleston County, that manages that response. So all the municipalities, the towns, the cities fall underneath the county, and the county manages the response. First up, before Ben Webster spoke, I wanted to give an overview of something that we are all concerned about on Johns Island and the Sea Islands. This is Sea Island census data. So this includes the towns like Kiowa, Seabrook, Rockville, Wadmalaw, and the county as a whole that covers Johns Island and the Sea Islands together. So Johns Island, Wadmalaw, Kiowa, and Seabrook combined. 1990 population of all of that combined, 12,900, so almost 13,000. 10 years later, in 2000, in the year 2000, it went up to 15,000, 18% increase. In 2010, it went up another 28% to 19,500. In 2020, it went up 53% in 10 years to almost 30,000. From 2000 to 2020, the population increased 96%, almost double in 20 years. And you can see every 10 years, the population increase accelerated. And of the Sea Islands, Johns Island obviously has the greatest share, 76% of the total population of the Sea Islands at 22,800. This is that data on a graph with some projected data based on permit information. So that's the same numbers there, 1990, 2000, 2010. You see the growth. The population is in the red lines and the units is in the blue lines. The thin lines are Johns Island only, and the thick lines of each of those is all the Sea Islands together. So Johns Island drives the growth, obviously there, and you can see that projected down out to 2030, based on permit data, permit of single and multifamily dwellings that are permitted to be built in the near future or are being built. Estimated population is estimated to be about 37,000 people by 2030 on the Sea Islands. So rapid population, we all feel it. It's crowding our roads, making traffic difficult. There's concern about hurricane evacuation. If there's a major hurricane that we have to evacuate quickly for, how's that going to go? So, in that context, is what I turned it over to Ben Webster from the Charleston County Emergency Management Department. He acknowledged the concern. They're all working towards solving that, and they meet and plan about it all the time. This is what he said that was the probability of different emergencies in Charleston County in 2023, 2024, from hurricanes all the way down to winter weather, the high probability versus moderate or low. Hurricane, as you can see, high probability, number one. They have outreach and educational programs that I do encourage everyone to take advantage of. CERT training, highly recommend it. I've done it. I've tried to encourage other people to do it. The more people that are CERT trained, the more knowledgeable you'll be about how you can help the Charleston County and help others in your community in the event of a hurricane or some other massive disaster where your skills can be put to use. And then for speaking events, you can request Charleston County to come and speak at your school or other organization about whatever topic you want related to disasters. So, emergency information, this is what Ben Webster presented, that you go to that website, charlestoncounty.org/em. You can download that guide online, a PDF of that. It has a lot of really good information in it. He had a lot of stacks that he passed out at the meeting. Talked about having an emergency kit ready to go for hurricanes, prepare for a minimum of 3 days. It's never too early to prepare. Keep informed, store your kit, layer and monitor supplies, and use what you have. So I'll let you read all of those details there. Know your zone. This was surprising to some people, I think. So recently, the state of South Carolina changed their zones. So if you are on Kiowa and Seabrook, you're in Zone A. And if you're in Johns Island, Wadmalaw, and James Island, you're in Zone B. And that means the zones indicate, as a hurricane is coming, for example, we'll get information through the news and through Charleston County and the towns and cities, which zone should be evacuating first, which zones are more at risk, things like that. So it's just really important to know what zone you're in. There you go, whether you're in Zone A or Zone B. So in my district, Johns Island, and James Island, we're in Zone B. Talked about the evacuation routes. There's a lot more evacuation routes than people thought. Ours on Johns Island and Kiowa and Seabrook and Rockville are to go up Main Road to Highway 17 and then head west. If you live on Johns Island and live in Oakfield, for example, or Maybank Village, you do not go over the Stono River Bridge. You go the other direction to Maine and go north on Main Road. Because if you go over the Stono River Bridge, you're going the wrong direction for the ultimate direction you want to go to evacuate, and you're just going to get clogged up on James Island or West Ashley with all the traffic that's trying to evacuate from there. So no matter where you go, you're probably going to be stuck in traffic for a while. It's best to be going in the right direction is the main point. So head towards Main Road, wherever you live on Johns Island, Kiowa, etc. Go north on Main to 17. And you'll see these evacuation routes. But of course, you'll be following all the traffic. But if there's any confusion or any question about which road you take, these evacuation route signs are already out there, already set up. Shelters. He said that trying to stay at a government provided shelter is a last resort. The shelters are not very well equipped for a lot of amenities. Not necessarily very very comfortable. They're going to have cots and a blanket. That's about it. And they'll probably be very crowded for those who absolutely need them. So the main point is to try to just get out of Dodge, get out of the area, evacuate early and as quickly and safely as you can. big question. It's 2026 hurricane outlook. So those are the named storms that they're looking for in 2026. And 7 hurricanes. But the point is, doesn't matter how many there are. The main point from Charleston County Emergency Management Division, it only takes one. And that's an example of a hurricane that's devastated an area. And I've made the point, think about last year in 2025, last hurricane season, there was a big tropical storm, and I can't remember the name of it. If you remember, it was coming right at us. And we were all batting down the hatches, and there was emergency meetings at the city and the county. And then right before it was going to hit land, it took a hard right, literally a 90-degree turn out to sea. 90% of the models did not predict that. So if the models couldn't predict that it was not going to hit us, the models also can get wrong that if a hurricane is coming at us or a tropical storm, it may miss us. And then you wake up the next morning and it changed course drastically or strengthened radically. So they're unpredictable. Hurricane Helene is a great example of that, of how the damage that did so far inland was totally unexpected, not predicted by anybody. Caught everybody off guard, deep into North Carolina, devastated the area. So, point is, we got to be ready. You got to evacuate early, and we want our areas, our institutions on the Sea Islands, to have supplies and be capable to help people who couldn't evacuate, didn't evacuate, etc. after the hurricane passes, to help get people back on their feet. And that was it. And then I added another slide. St. John's Fire District Fire Chief Ryan Kunitzer could not be there in person. However, if you don't know, St. John's Fire District covers everywhere on that map, as you can see there: Johns Island, Wadmalaw, Kiowa, Seabrook. It's different than in the city fire department. So right now we have on Johns Island in the city district, part of Johns Island, we have a city fire department on the corner of Bohicket, Maine, and Maybank. And we're getting a brand new city fire station built on Maybank near the Oakfield development. When that gets built, the current St. John's Fire District, which is not part of the city, it's its own fire district funded by the county, that fire station will move likely down here towards Kiowa somewhere, because the new city fire station will be more or less take its place. They work seamlessly together. They cover each other. So even though they're different entities, there's a city fire department, there's St. John's Fire Department, they cover each other seamlessly. So they work together, they sometimes train together, they operate together. So when the new city fire station is built, Chief Ryan Kunitzer has been pursuing this idea of using either the old fire station or another place on Johns Island as a headquarters, a regional headquarters or command and control center for disaster response and command and control for the Sea Islands, located on Johns Island. So with that ability, it helps enable or enhance Charleston County's emergency response with kind of a branch out on Johns Island led by St. John's Fire District, coordinating with the city of Charleston, town of Kiowa, town of Seabrook, etc., to help with better response times, both for facilitating joint operations in the event of weather emergencies or even missing persons. So great forward thinking, out of the box thinking by Ryan Kunitzer. I believe he asked Charleston County for some money to be able to do this, to stand this up, and I think he got it already. So that's in progress. So it's the kind of out of the box thinking that we're all trying to do to be more prepared for a hurricane evacuation and response after a hurricane passes. All right, so click on your screen right now. You should see a place to click to go to part 2 of the Charleston County 2026 Transportation Sales Tax discussion. Thanks, everybody.